Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. It's good to see you. Um, I'm Pia from Stitches and Scraps, and this is Lunchtime Live, episode 93. We're coming up on that 100th episode. So for those of you who are new here, Lunchtime Live is basically my video newsletter. So I'll tell you everything that's going on at Stitches and Scraps, what I'm working on. Good morning, Mary. Nice to see you. So I'll tell you everything I'm working on at Stitches and Scraps, and then we'll end the video with a demo. Now, for 2022, I've decided to do a stitch of the week, and I'm alternating between knit and crochet stitches. So today is a crochet stitch, and we're going to do the crochet diagonal box stitch, which is also called the diagonal block stitch sometimes, not that often, but most everybody refers to it as the C2C stitch, which used to be a major pet peeve of mine, but I'm starting to learn that I just have to let go of it. And I'll talk more about that later. But so that's the stitch of the week, and we will get there, but I have a lot to share with you before that. And I apologize if I'm a little bit sleepy today. I had a very, very long night at the emergency vet last night. My dog Millie, she decided to get in a fight with a possum, and she got a bite on her leg, just between like the ankle and the paw, where there's no meat, it's just tendon and bone. So I was like freaking out. She got this puncture wound right there, and I'm like, oh my god, it probably tore a tendon or something. But the vet said no, it's shallow enough that it didn't do any damage. She's just gonna have a lot of bruising. And so she's got the whole cone of shame and all these meds, antibiotics and painkillers, and she pretty much hates me right now. But we were out till 3 in the morning. So I'm working on very, very little sleep. So if I'm a little groggy or I repeat myself, I apologize. Good morning, Kendra. Hi, Nancy. Good to see you guys. Nancy, I think you're new here. Yeah, I know. I was freaking out, Mary. It was stressful. And ERs, okay, so vets, well, first of all, sorry. Hi, Nancy. I started to say hi. I think you're new here. So welcome to Lunchtime Live. And Mary, yes, I think right now what's going on, as I understand it, is there was a huge, huge boon in people adopting animals and getting pets and all that during the pandemic. But there was not an equivalent boost of vets and vet techs and all of the different people that are needed to make a vet's office run. So now they're all ridiculously understaffed, especially the ERs. So what would have been a really simple visit ended up being 4.5 hours long. Because they were just too overstaffed. It's like going to a regular human ER. When there's emergency cases, you get ignored until the emergencies are dealt with, which is the way it should be. But yeah, so it was just a long night. Kendra, I'm sorry you haven't been feeling well. I hope you feel better soon. Okay, so let's get into what we're doing this week. Okay, so the first thing is we have a new pattern on the blog, and that is the basket pattern. Oh, glare. There we go. Okay, so this basket pattern, it's got a fun little star-shaped bottom, which I really like. It's got basket weave sides, and it's made with a combination of raffia and cotton yarn. So this is actually, now in the pattern I said cotton yarn, and I do suggest you use cotton yarn. This yarn is Cotton Ease, Lion Brand Cotton Ease, which was left over in my stash. It's a blend of cotton and acrylic, so it's a little bit softer than a stiff like dishcloth cotton would be. So a dishcloth cotton would be actually stiffer than this, and so that would be even better. But this is still nice, and it's got handles, and the best feature, and the reason it's called what it is it's got a drawstring top. So I'm going to put this, let me see the best way to show this to you on camera. Let's see. Okay, so if I close it up, and I put a cord lock on it, but that's not mandatory. But if I close it up, there you go. You can see what the top looks like. It fits an insane amount of stuff. Yes, Kendra, you absolutely must make this. It stands up straight all on its own. It fits a ton of stuff. And the cool part with this top is, okay, so this is what the top looks like when it's open, right? You can do two things with it when it's open. You can either, I'm going to do this and then show you. You can, well, let me see if I can switch here. Okay. So you can either take it and roll it like this so that you get a nice rolled edge all the way around. And I'll hold that up and show you what that looks like in a second. But basically you just roll it over in itself. And if you want to, you can even pull on the drawstring a little bit just to snug that up so that it stays in place really nicely. And then you have this pretty rolled top, see, and it sits like that. You can tuck the drawstring in if you don't want it hanging out, which is pretty much how I would do it, but like that, see? So then you've got this pretty rolled top, so that's one way, and it's kind of messy. You can do it neater. Or you can fold it all the way in like this. Okay, so now it's all folded in, and the cord hides under the corner, and now it's like it's lined inside a little bit here. So now it's like it's lined inside there a little bit, and it's all hidden, and it looks, you know, seamless on the outside. So that's two different ways you can use it when it's open. And then if you want to close it, you just pull the drawstring tight, and you've got this nice covered basket. This basket, and I'm telling you guys a secret here that I haven't told anybody yet. This basket is for the CGOA Chain Link Conference. They're going to be doing raffle baskets. I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to tell you this yet, but I'm doing one of the raffle baskets, and all of my goodies are going to be in this basket. The whole point of this basket is I can squish it flat if I want to, so it's easier to pack. I was totally going to take a regular wicker basket, and then I'm like, I am not packing this in a suitcase and carrying it to New Orleans. It's just not happening. I need something that fits around everything, and that is what this basket is. So you can make one on your own, or you can come to CGOA and hopefully try and win it in the raffle. And it's going to be filled with goodies too. So this yarn, the raffia yarn, you can buy that in my shop. I don't have an appropriate cotton yarn in my shop right now. I plan to change that. So actually, let me give you a shop update. I am going to a conference in June. I think it's 2 or 3 weeks away, called H&H. And what it is, it's actually a European conference. It's their first year coming to the US. And it's a trade show. Yeah, Kendra, don't we all? We all have like a big stash of washcloth cotton somewhere. And that's what I figured. So the real yarn that you'd have to like buy would be the raffia yarn. And then you could just mix it with any cotton in your stash. And actually, you can change the colors. So like, I think this would make a great Easter basket. If you took like, I've got a purple raffia in the store that's really pretty. And if you mix that maybe with like a pink cotton, that would be so cute. So I did a really neutral one, but you could totally do, you know, spring colors or fall color. You could make a Christmas colored one with green and red. I think I have a red raffia. I'm not sure, but I think I have a red raffia that you could mix with a green cotton, and that would look so cool for Christmas. So tons of different options with the colors. It doesn't have to be neutral baskety like that one is. Sorry, I got sidetracked. What was I saying? Oh yeah, H&H. So I'm a distributor for King Cole yarns, and King Cole is going to have a booth at H&H. So I'm ready to put in another order for the shop. But before I do, I want to go to the show and, you know, put my hands on some of the yarns and maybe add another yarn line or two to the shop. If there is a King Cole yarn you're looking for that you'd like me to add to my lineup, I'm not going to promise because I can only add 1 or 2 lines. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to add the yarn lines one at a time so that I can get enough colors, because I have to buy a bag of every color, right? So I want to be able to get enough colors so that it's not like, oh, look at this beautiful yarn, here's one color you can pick, right? So I want to add 1 yarn line or maybe 2 yarn lines, but all the colors in it. So if there is something specific you've been looking for on the King Cole site, just tell me what it is and I will take a look at it in the show and maybe add that to the store. So that's coming up in a few weeks. So the inventory is maybe a little low on a couple of the items right now. This color raffia is actually completely out right now, but I will be building it back up. I'll probably have it built back up by early July. I just really want to get to the show before I make the decisions. Okay, so what else? Oh, I got a sneak peek for you today. I just looked at my list and I'm like, oh yes, I get to show you. Okay, so this is a sneak peek. I'm gonna switch over. I want to zoom in so that I can make sure that you don't see the whole thing. Okay, there we go. All right, so you ready? Here's a sneak peek of a pattern that's coming up. I am participating in the Softy Crochet Along over at Crochet Along Central. I will let you guys guess what this guy is, and you'll see that next week. So that pattern comes out next week, and that's just a little sneak peek. This is my first time using blush to do cheeks, and oh my God, you guys, I'm totally in love with that look. So I'm totally gonna do it now every time. You think it's a caterpillar? Okay, we'll see. It may be a caterpillar. It may not be a caterpillar. I'm not telling. I know I'm really bad at secrets, but this time I'm not telling. So that is next week's pattern that's coming out. Next week for Lunchtime Live, we're going to do the Knit Trinity Stitch. And then this is episode 93. I'm going to be skipping the week of H&H, and then I'm going to be skipping the week of the CGOA conference. So there's 2 weeks that are skipped, which puts the 100th episode about 2 weeks after the CGOA conference. So I think it's like the last week of July or the first week of August. If there's something special, you think it's a banana? Okay, maybe it's a banana, we'll see. If there's something special or fun that you want to do for the 100th episode, let me know your ideas. I was thinking maybe a tour of my craft room, like instead of doing the whole, demo and everything down here, I can take you upstairs to my office and you can see where I actually do my work. Or I could show you my looms and weaving on the loom. I could do, I don't know, a review of patterns older patterns that I still have the samples for and show you some of those. I can do all sorts of different things. So let me know what you want to do, and maybe I'll have a couple surprises for you too, but I want to do something special for the 100th episode. I just don't know what yet, but we'll try and do something fun. And then let's see, anything else? Okay, next week's stitch is the Knit Trinity Stitch, and then the week after that I'm doing, if it's not H&H, but the next Lunchtime Live I'm doing the Crochet Trinity Stitch. So it's the same stitch, 2 different versions. You're looking to learn lots of knit and crochet patterns. Well, that's what we're doing this year, so yay, I'm glad you're here. And that's actually, and you're working on washcloths for your mom, out of the white cotton you have, and you're making the bag. Oh, cool. Yeah. Oh, that was the other thing I should tell you about. The bag. I promised you guys last time. Okay, back up. For those of you who are new here, this is bag number 3 in our bag along, crochet along that we've been doing all year. This is the 3rd bag out of the 6, and it's a mandala bag with 2 options. If you want a complicated pattern, this is a layered flower mandala that takes a little effort. It takes some concentration. You're working the 2 layers independently but at the same time, and then you join them at the end. So it's like you work a couple rows in the middle, then you work a couple rows on the outside layer, then a couple rows in the middle, and then eventually you join it at the end. If you want a simpler experience, this is a much simpler spiral, or not spirals, just circular mandala. Striped, that's the word I'm looking for. This is a simple striped mandala, and this is much easier to make. It's mainly, the only tricks in this one are back post stitches. Nothing really fancy here. Goes very quickly, and you can focus on the bag itself. So you can either choose this, or you can do what I did and do one of each. And then the next, okay, the first tutorial for this one that's come out is this, to make this mandala itself, which is great for the bag, or, you know, just if you just want a mandala. The second tutorial that's coming out is for the zippered lining. So you guys know I don't sew very well. I am definitely not a sewist, but I managed to do this lining, and you can too. And I showed you how I did it. If you are a sewist and you watch that video when it comes out, it's coming out next week or 2 weeks from now. I'm not sure which. But if you are a sewist and you watch the video, please don't laugh at me, because it's more of a, here's how a crocheter can sew a bag lining, not how here's a professional sewist sews a bag lining. And I may not do it the best exact way, but I do it in a way that works. So it'll make the lining for this bag. And that's coming out in a week or two for that one. The thing I promised to show you guys was the prizes again, because remember, there's a giveaway that goes all the way through okay, so this bag is June and July, I believe. Or is it July? Okay, January, February, March, April, May, June. Okay, so this one's July and, yeah, this one's May, June. Okay, May, June. So it's ending at the end of June, which means the giveaway is ending at the end of June. And you can go in and enter the giveaway right now. So I'm going to get up for a minute because I promised to show you the giveaway prizes, and I forgot to grab them, but they're right here. So give me 1 second. The giveaway prizes for this one are the Clover Pom Pom Maker set of 4 pom pom makers, and a pack of oh, you know what? You can't see that really well here. It glares when I hold things up like that. There we go. So this is We Crochet stitch markers, and the tin has these, I like these little pear-shaped stitch markers, and a set of 4 Clover Pom Pom makers. So this was sponsored by We Crochet, because they're sponsoring the whole bag along, and you can enter to win these ones. One thing I didn't say at the beginning, for those of you who are new here, anything I talk about, like this giveaway or the bag pattern or the tutorials, all of that, you can find links to all of it on my blog. If you go in the description on this video, I've linked one blog post so that I didn't have like a whole list of links, right? So one blog post, but when you go there, there's a whole list of links. So if you go there, it has everything I'm planning to talk about today. So you'll find the giveaway for that. The giveaway is in the post where I reveal the materials for the pattern. So with that one ending soon, that means the next one will be starting soon. So get ready for that one in July. Man, I really have to get my button gear and get that one made because I haven't done that yet. But I chose a simpler pattern with not a lot going on for the summer one, because come on, it's summer and we need something a little bit simple, right? So it does have some fun things to learn, but it's not a complex, long project. Your latch hook rug kit should be here by Monday. Ooh, I love latch hook rug making. I haven't done it. Wow. The last time I did latch hook rug was an Eeyore rug. And I must have made that in my early 20s. Wow. It's been a long time. I haven't had a chance. There's so many things, you know? Okay. Anything else that I've forgotten from news? I don't think so. I think I've told you all the news. The last time you did it was 2019. Yeah, it's been a while, right? Okay, anybody else? Anything I've forgotten? Nope. Okay, I'm going to jump right into the demo portion of the video. And we're doing the diagonal box stitch. You know, let me check my settings here real quick. Hang on. Nope, never mind. I can't. Oh, yes, I can. Here we go. Settings. Because I thought I changed the resolution. I did. Okay. So I've changed the resolution, and I'm hoping that makes this video less fuzzy than it has been. I've been having problems with the phone camera, but it turns out I think it was just a setting. So hopefully that's fixed it. Okay. Diagonal box stitch. We're going to start with one box. All right. And every box is 3 double crochets and a chain 3. The chain 3 does not count as a double crochet in this diagonal box stitch pattern. It counts as a chain 3 space. So we're going to start with 6 chains. That's 3 chains for your double crochets and then 3 chains for that chain 3 space, right? So that's 6. So now we're going to skip the first 3 for that chain 3 space, and then we're going to work into the next 3 with double crochets. I like to work in the back bumps. You do not have to work in the back bumps. You can work however you work into your chain normally. So there's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, and 3 double crochets. Now this is 1 box, okay? 1 box or 1 block. That is the basis of diagonal box stitch. The thing that makes this pattern work is that these 3 double crochet, this box is about as tall as it is wide. And that's entirely what makes this work. Any stitch pattern where you can get a block that's about as tall as it is wide can be worked corner to corner pretty easily. So while this is called the corner to corner stitch, this is not the only corner to corner stitch. You can do corner to corner shells are actually really cool. I've done a version of this stitch with popcorns. I know Tamara Kelly from Moogly did a version of this stitch that's lacy. So there's actually lots of corner to corner stitches. Just because it's corner to corner does not mean it's diagonal box stitch. And I know I told you that's my pet peeve, and I gotta let it go because I know these words, you know, mutate over time and people start using them differently, but it's right up there for me with calling everything square a granny square when it's not a granny square. But I have to get over that. That's just me. Okay, so there's row 1, 1 box, right? Now we're gonna start row 2. For row 2, we wanna add a box. So before we worry about anything we've done on row 1, let's add another box, okay? So here we've got 1 box. Now let's do another box. Remember that to make this 1 box, we chain 6, right? So let's do the same thing. Chain 6, 1, 2, 3 for the 3 double crochets, and 1, 2, 3 for your chain 3 space, okay? So skip the first 3 to make your chain 3 space, and then we're gonna work, and I like the back bumps, but you don't have to. We're gonna work 3 double crochets. Okay, so that is the first box of round 2, or row 2. Now we have to make the second box. This is just floppy here. It's only connected right at the end of that chain. Where are we gonna work our second box? Well, we want to work the box into this chain 3 space. So this is the part that screws people up. You need to get into this chain 3 space. So you flip this up so that you can work in that chain 3 space. Okay, so it's hanging like that. You're going to flip it up so that you can work into that chain 3 space. If it's hanging like this, you're going to flip it around so you can work into that chain 3 space. You want to flip it this way? That's fine too. You just have to get it so that you can work into that chain 3 space. So let's connect with a slip stitch. Okay, and now let's make a box in this chain 3 space. All right, and a box is chain 3 for a chain 3 space plus 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And now look, our first row had 1 box, right? Our second row has 2 boxes. Our third row is going to have 3 boxes, and we're going to do it the same way. We're going to start by adding a box. So chain 6. Okay, and I'm turning now. And then we're going to skip 3 chains, and we're going to work, I'm going to turn this way to get to my back bumps. I like my back bumps. Okay, and we're going to work into the last 3 chains. So 1, 2, everything's a double crochet here. 2, 3. Okay. Now, again, this is just dangling, right? I'm going to fold it up so that I can work into that chain space. That's the key. Every time you start another row, you want to connect to the chain space. So you do a slip stitch to connect it. And now I've got 2 boxes to work into. So I'm going to chain 3 and do 3 double crochet in this box. Okay. Now I'm going to slip stitch into this box to connect it. You always do that slip stitch to connect. Okay. Chain 3 and 3 double crochet in this box. And notice I'm always working into those chain 3 loops. All right. So now this row has 3 double crochet. So this is great. We're doing increases, right? But we don't want a jagged edge triangle. We want to get a rectangle out of this, or potentially a square. So in order to do that, if you were doing a square, we would start decreasing right away. This row has 3. You would do 2 on this row. Okay? 2 on this row, sorry. And then you would do 1 on the next row, and then you'd have a square. But let's see how to make a rectangle. To do a rectangle, we need to expand one side of our piece while keeping the other side the same. Okay? This side has 3 boxes going up the edge. This side has 3 boxes going up the edge right now, but I need to change that. I'm going to make this go another box. So that means I don't want to add a box here. So instead of doing my chain 6 and making another box, instead I'm just going to chain 3 just to get up to the height of this box, right? And then I'm going to slip stitch into this chain 1 space and start making my boxes. So now I haven't added another box on this end. So this end will end at 3 boxes. That's it, 3 boxes there. So now I'm going to chain 3 for this box and do my 3 double crochet in this chain space. Oops, dropped my yarn. Okay, 3 double crochet, 2, 3. Okay. Now here I've come up to my next box, so I'm going to slip stitch in that box, make another box. Okay, come up to my next box. Now this side has 3 on it, but I want to make it longer, right? So I'm going to go ahead and do a box in here as well. Okay, so now what we've done is we've added a box coming up this side, but we did not add a box coming up this side. So now we have 3 boxes on this side and 4 boxes on this side, right? I'm going to add another box here to make it 5. So because I want to add another box on this side, I need to do that whole chain 6 thing. So chain 3 and then 3 more for the space, okay? And then I'm going to do a double crochet in the back bump, or however you like to work, double crochet into these last 3 chains. Okay. And then I'm going to find my first chain 3 space and slip stitch in there to join. So now I've added another box, right? I have 5 boxes on this side and 3 boxes on this side. Okay, so let's keep going on our row. 1, 2, 3, okay, and then 3 double crochets, slip stitch in the next box, 1, 2, 3, and 3 double crochets, okay, slip stitch in the next box. And now here's the thing, if I was to add another box here, that would make this stick up, right? I don't want to do that. So I'm not going to work into this box at all. I am just going to leave it. And that basically what I've done, here I've increased one at the beginning, but then I decrease one at the end by not working into that box. So I still have 3 boxes on this row, excuse me, but I've shifted it so that I've added a box on this side, but didn't add a box on this side. Okay, now let's work on the decreases. So I'm here and I don't want to add any more boxes, but I need to get up to here. Excuse me. Okay, so I'm going to chain 3 to get up to this box that I want to join into. So that just gives me that height, right? So now I slip stitch in here, and now I'm going to decrease. So I'm not going to add one on either end. So I'm going to chain 3 and work my double crochets into here. Okay. And then I'm going to slip stitch here, chain 3, work my double crochets into here. There we go. Okay. And then I slip stitch again into this last one, but I don't want to extend this side anymore, right? I don't want to extend anything, so I'm going to stop. And now I have 2 boxes on this row, and I haven't increased anything. I've got 5 on this side, I've got 3 on this side. The last thing to do is one more decrease, which works the same way as before. We're going to chain 3 to get to where we need to be, which is this space here, right? We're going to slip stitch into the space. We're going to chain 3, and we're going to work 3 double crochets into this spot and slip stitch right here. Now, one thing I always like to do, if you look at the edges here, there's a chain 3 here, there's a chain 3 here, there's a chain 3 here. Along this whole edge, it's chain 3, chain 3, chain 3, chain 3. There isn't one here because that's where we finished. So to really finish this off nicely, what I like to do is I like to chain 3 and slip stitch back into this chain 3 space as though I was about to start another row, but then fasten it off there. And now you have chain 3 spaces all the way up here and all the way up here. If you're going to do a border on this, one thing that works really well is to join yarn here and start making chain 3 spaces around each of these blocks on this side and around each of these blocks on this side. And now you have chain 3 spaces evenly spaced all the way around your work. And you can use those to measure your edging stitches. Like you could put 3 single crochet in each chain 3 space or whatever you wanted to do. You could even work into the chains directly if you wanted it nice and even. So let's talk about variations on this. I told you this is not the only stitch that can be worked corner to corner. The key to this stitch is that notice how like on this row it's pointing this way and on this row it's pointing that way. That works because this dimension, this height of the stitch is the same as the width of this group of stitches. Do you see that? This has to be as wide as this is tall. All right. As long as you can accomplish that, you can work this stitch. So you could do treble crochets with chain 4 spaces. You just would have to do, or chain 5 spaces or whatever works for you. You would just have to do more treble crochets, maybe 4 or 5 treble crochets to make them square, to make your block square. So you could do chain 4 and then 4 treble crochets into the chain 4 spaces instead of double crochets, right? You could potentially do half double crochets, but at that point your blocks are getting so small, it's not really worth it. But you could do taller stitches, as tall as you want to. You can replace the double crochets with some other kind of stitch. I've done this with bobble stitches, where instead of double crochets in my blocks, I use bobble stitches. And you can combine that with this, double crochet version, and then the bobble stitches stick out and this part is flat. So you can actually do color work that way, sort of, or texture work, if you want to say it that way, where you have a raised pattern of bobbles on a flat surface. So there's lots of different things you can do. You can also do shell stitches this way, where the shell stitch starts here, right? Here's the corner of the shell, and then it spreads out at this width, right? And then the next shell sits here and spreads out here and starts here and spreads out there. And then you've got another shell here and another shell here and another shell here. Like picture these as shells. And that's another really popular corner to corner stitch. So just because something says corner to corner does not mean it's necessarily diagonal box stitch, but it probably is because that's what everyone means when they say it now. So the other thing that's cool with this that a lot of people do is those graph GANs, because you can treat each of these boxes as a pixel and do each box in whatever color you want that pixel to be. So anything you can graph, you can do in diagonal box stitch just by using that color for that pixel. Just know that every square on your graph is going to be this big, right? So if you have a graph that was meant to be done in single crochet, where every stitch on every square on the graph was a single crochet, and you translate that to every square as a block in diagonal box stitch, now you've got a finished project that's probably 4 times the size in each direction. So, or at least 3 times the size in each direction. So keep that in mind. But if you're doing, like, you take a washcloth pattern that's meant to be done in single crochet and you change that to a diagonal box stitch pattern, it'll probably make a baby blanket. You know, you might have to put a little border on it, but it'll probably come close to a baby blanket size. So you can use any graphed pattern. You just have to be aware of what your size ratio is going to be. And you can make a little swatch like this and measure the swatch and know that, like, 5 blocks makes this much, right? So then you know how much each block is. And then you know how much each square on the chart is, and you know what the finished dimensions are going to be before you even start. Because swatching is magic. Okay. Any questions? Any questions on diagonal box stitch? I'm trying to think if there's anything I forgot to tell you or show you. No, I think that's about it. Nancy, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll join us next time too. And I'm just going to say bye. Everybody have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye.